Coming up for you tonight on this show, yes, I'm still doing the Top Gear voice. We have got one of my very good friends who I went to school with. We're going to be talking about life. We're going to be talking about wrestling. We're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about situations that make us all feel
I think something happened
uncomfortable.
to the sound.
And there is a problem that is blurring, and I have
I
no
think something
clue
just
what's
happened to the
going.
sound a second ago.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, I think we're good. I think we're all right. And that's what happens when you listen to my show. Non-edited. Anyway, let's play the video. Yes. If you haven't seen us do a show, we did a show a few years back where we would sit down weekly and we would talk about things that went on in WWE that week. We did like a weekly wrestling show, and it was the amount of weird bollocks that me and him used to do on the show was fucking ridiculous. Anyway, this is my really good friend Ghulam. I went to secondary school with him. We were very, very close friends in school. We left school, didn't get in contact that much. And then I was on X one day. He followed me, or I followed him, and he was talking a lot about wrestling. And I wanted to talk about wrestling. And then when I first started my first channel, before now I'm on my fourth overall. Like fucking Thanos at this point, trying to collect them all. I very much. We would then sit down weekly, and we would talk about wrestling. We sat down talking about Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and we just talked a load of bollocks. It was a lot of fun. But how are you? How are you doing? And this is a nice question to start with. I'm being nice because then we're going to get into the hard stuff. But for you, how are you doing right now?
Very good, thank you. Just having a quiet-ish Sunday. I've had a very busy couple of weeks, and yeah, then today's like kind of like my rest day, if you will. As I say that, I've just come back for feeling a bit pumped from that.
Fair enough. Right. I'm going to ask you the very first question that we ask everybody that's come on this channel. And we ask the same thing because we want to see how everyone feels about it. So, to you, what is a man?
What is a man? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if we're talking from a straight point of view, I'd say it's a man who
What? No. So
is
it's very much of what makes a good man. What makes a good man, as in, like a role model for you. That's a good man, or what in your life do you think makes a good man?
I suppose it'd be I'd say someone who you can look up to, and someone that really, you know, I think from the way I've always seen it, someone who provides and sets examples, and you follow.
Yeah, so that's for you. Is someone who
So I think the
provides.
sound's a bit off.
Yeah, no, don't worry. There's a little bit breaking up. Don't worry. We're used to this on this channel. We're used to it. Nearly every guest we've had that's in the United Kingdom, we've had a little bit of a on and off situation that we've had here. I'm going to try something a bit different just to see. Right, you shut the fuck up.
No, that's all
Okay,
right. Yeah,
right, let's try that.
maybe.
Yeah. So that might be better for you. So for you, a good
Yeah,
man is someone that you can look up to, someone that can provide and help for their
yeah.
family. What else would you say is that, or is that like your main go-to goals for being a good man?
I'd say it's the main go-to. Like because like for me, especially because obviously I grew up with parents, and obviously my dad was always the main provider in the house. So yeah, he'd be the main guy for that. Had an uncle as well who passed away, but he was also, because we used to live in a joint family, he'd be also part of that as well. So for me, I think that's always what made the man, if that makes any sense.
Hmm. Absolutely.
I always had
I
those
think
sort
the
of like
one.
men figures in my life.
Yeah, no, that's perfect that we want to hear. Let's talk about growing up then with a male figure in your life. Obviously, you said, because if I remember correctly, you had two houses that were next door to each other, but they were slightly connected, and you used to just sort of. Was that you that used to have that house, or was that someone else in the school that had
Probably
that where they
not,
could
but
just?
yeah, that was probably not me. But we used to live in a joint. I can confirm we did live in a joint family. So it was me and sorry, it was my myself and my cousins who lived in one house, and then we
Mhm,
lived. That was we lived. I don't know if you if you, how well you remember Woodley, but I don't know if you remember Luns Farm Road.
mhm.
You do. Yeah, that's where I still live. So I was there for about 12 years of my life there, and then in 2005 we moved to Charville. Me and my mum, sorry, my mum, dad, my brother and sister were little at that time, and that was when we sorry moved house. Still went to obviously the same school and everything, but it was just in a different area.
Yeah, I know where that is. I know exactly where you're on about as well. So for you growing up, what was your dad like? If you're looking at like a father figure, let's talk about your father figures in your life. You said your dad and your uncle. What made them good father figures, and what were they like for you growing up?
Mostly my dad for my dad. I'd say he always took the time to talk to me, and he always you know the reason why I say it like that is because he was a lot of times he was always busy. He used to work night shifts, so I'd usually see him most on the weekends, I'd say, or the days when he was just before he's heading to work, I'd see him in those hours. Yeah, we obviously I was a kid at that time, so I didn't really get to talk too much as much. If that makes sense. Obviously, he'd be wondering how school's going, all the how you getting on at school, how's your grades and all that. But that was from when I saw him when I was in school. As I got older, we did talk more, but you know, what I'm trying to say is that I'd see him obviously putting in the work and coming home early in the morning, and you could tell that he was working he was working hard to bring the money in and just keep everything running. If that makes sense. And same for my uncle, except he wasn't working late. He wasn't working late. He was working normal days, from what I remember. Uh, from the reason why I say from what I remember is because he got diagnosed with cancer, so he wasn't able to work for a bit. Uh, yeah, I'd see a lot of the hard work going on from them in the house. I should also mention my mum used to work as well, so I'd see her. Um, I'd see her out, and I'd see her going out, and my auntie as well. She'd be working as well, so it was always a lot of people putting in the work in. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, and very much so. So, how's your relationship evolved? Has your family always been very open about mental health? Is there something? Are you a very open, talkative family? Are you
Hello.
not open, talkative? Can you hear me?
I think the sound's gone
Um,
down.
no worries. I will repeat what I just said. Just saying. Are your family very open and talkative in the mental health state? Do you guys discuss about your feelings? Was that something that you
Yeah, I think
had
your
growing
mic's gone
up?
down again.
Is it gone? My mic should be
The mic.
absolutely fine. Right, try that now. Is that better? My microphone should be absolutely fine. I've just checked all of this. Yeah, it's all good. I'm getting all the stuff through. It might be on your end, my friend. But can you hear me now? Is everything okay? We are back. Right, we've sort of worked out the problem that we've got, and we have sort of fixed it slightly. So the question is for you. I don't even know where I was with this question. Anyway, let's go with about mental health because I can't remember where I was, where I'm going, or anything like that. My brain's completely fried. Right, let's go back on course with mental health. I know you very well, and I know that you go to the gym a lot. And you do a lot of workout, as we can see by the pythons that are on your arms right there. So, what is it for you, and why do you go to the gym?
I mean, I have a lot of reasons for myself personally. For me, it's been a part of. It was literally the best answer I can give is I'd have to explain to you how it's that for me it just started off as a something to keep me busy, if that makes sense, and it slowly went from that to being more just like part of my lifestyle, if that makes sense as well. And I just pretty much, for me, it's just I need to go to the gym after a long day. It can be after work, it could be after a long day at home, it can be just just to keep me busy or keep me occupied. Just keep I mean, it helps me both, mentally and physically. You know, that's I know a lot of people see it now as like the cool thing to do, but for me, I guess I could say I was doing before it became the cool thing.
You've been doing it for ages, to my knowledge. You were doing, weren't you do? Weren't didn't you start doing it when you were at school? Was it school where you at the where you were
Funny
started
enough,
doing it
yeah, it
then?
was literally yeah. Funny enough, it was actually when you left, because I started in sixth form. It was
Yes,
literally just after you
I
left,
left
and
before then.
then just as soon as you left school, I yeah, just like one of the guys. It's funny because it was just like one day I was just with the guys, and he was about to head to his lesson, and I had a free period, and he just goes go to the gym, and that was literally how it started. As funny as it sounds, it was literally just that, and then I just started doing it. And it just became part of my repertoire, I guess.
So on this show as well, we like to go through some statistics and some stats. So my first proper question that I've actually written
Yeah.
down that has some stats in this, and then we're going to go into more other stats moving forward. But when you hear that 1 in 8 men experience symptoms of common mental health problems like anxiety and depression, how does that make you feel? We're going to go through more of the stats in a bit and we're going to go through a long breakdown, but we're going to go little bits here and there. But for you, have you come up with anxiety and depression? Have you gone through that? Have you come with any sorts of any symptoms of this, or do you know people who have gone through it, bar me? But do you know other people that have? And what is your thinking when you hear that 1 in 8 men experience those type of situations?
So, like, when you say 1 in 8 men, that kind of like that said does surprise me because it makes you wonder, like, the guys that you meet, if they could be that one, if that makes sense. Um, I myself, I can't say I've had depression. You know, I've been through. There are parts of my life which I can't quite say just at the moment. I've been through a breakup, and that did put me in a bit of a bad place mentally. Uh, I can't say it put me in a depressive state per se, but I was, not doing good mentally on that part. I can say that, and while I don't know depression very well, I will say that it's not good being, you feel down and you just feel like you can't talk to anyone. Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna push you. I'm not gonna push you about what you said
Yeah.
you're not
No,
gonna
it's fine.
talk about. I'm not gonna push you. But I want to ask you, you said that you went through a breakup. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend.
Mm.
But for you, how did you get through that? Like not to get yourself that down. What are the things that you threw yourself into to sort of help you or for the people that are watching this that may be going through a breakup? What could they do? Like what did you do to try and really help yourself and push yourself forward?
First of all, I will say I don't think I'm the right person to give that advice. I will say that from what I went through, it took me time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, it took me a while to feel to be able to open up. Yeah, it was because for me it was a dark time,
Hmm.
and trying to heal from it wasn't easy. Trying the best thing I can say was that, and this is one of the things I'm grateful to my workplace for is that we have a helpline that provides counselling, and I was able to talk to a counsellor, you know, every week, once a week, twice a week if I needed it, just to let them know how I'm feeling, inside. And yeah, just the more I spoke, the more, you know, able to train for a bit. I wasn't, believe it or not, I wasn't going to the gym. I'd just be coming home and I'd just be, feeling down. You know, I'd be coming into the office just quiet as hell. And some people may have even noticed that my mood was a bit off. And yeah, just it's just one of those things where I just had to find it myself to be able to open up, which is, like I said, it's not the best advice I can give you, but to simply put it, you just need to be able to find it in yourself to be able to talk, which can take
you
time.
said this a few, yeah, exactly. But I want to point something out, and I'm going to throw it back at you. You said that you may not be the right person to give this advice. Anyone and everyone could give any advice, and it may help someone. And that's why I want every different kind of person on here. So don't ever feel like that your advice or what you're given don't mean shit, because it does. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, there will be someone watching this. And you are a very good man. We've known each other for a long time. He knew me. I'm still fat, but he knew me through my really fat phase
You're great, man.
when I
You're
was
fine. You're fine.
when I went through school, and he was always there for me. So I don't want to hear, if you say it again in this podcast, I'm going to throw more love towards your way, because I know you hate that. So I don't want to hear any negativity coming out of you. So I want to go back to something you said as well about you were talking to a psychologist, because also as well, if you're looking at the stats around men are 3 times less likely men are 3 times less likely to seek to talk to a psychology or psychologist than a woman. Was there something that pushed you to that level, or something in your brain that you went, I need to get this sorted because of why? Is there something that got you there, or what was it?
It was, I'll say, I can confirm that it did take me, because at first, for a minute in my mind, I was like, I really don't think I can do this, because it's just like, I don't know how I can talk, talk like that, to somebody that, what I'm going through. But then, obviously, because I'm happy to say I do have family support around me that's always been there, and they just, I'm not going to specify who, but one of my cousins, I'll say, did reach out to me and did say that, because she'd been through some, not a breakup, was more for her bereavement, and she told me that when she went through counselling, it really helped her through it. And she said that she recommended that if you have someone who can give you counselling, go for it. And as I mentioned, my workplace has that. It's an online. It's a telephone. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a health um, telephone service that they can help you with a variety of things, not just like counselling, but just like you're going through work problems, stress, etc. So, from what my problem was, I, got in touch with the helpline, and it was like, it's funny when I say this, it's like a 24-hour call center, if you will. So you can call them at like 3 in the morning, if you will, just like, just to, check in, and yeah, I mean, I just, like I said, it was just finding in you just to reach out. I'll say it's not easy because they're a stranger at the end of the day. I feel like it's because they're a stranger, it helps even more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because because like it helps them feel like you can, they're not. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it's strange actually when you think about it. Like you'll feel comfortable talking to a stranger about your problems than you would to someone that you know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I completely, because when I went through it the first time, and I sat, because the first time I went through it, I went in a room with a therapist. So I went in there and sat in there in a room with her, and I went there for 10 weeks. And
Oh, really?
it was a 10-week program through talking therapies that they did at the time.
Yeah.
So we went to Wokingham Hospital, and we went there for 10 weeks in a row. Yeah, and what we
Okay.
did is I sat in there the same time, same place, same everything every week. I sat in there and we spoke for an hour. It was an hour long, and it was, so how's your week been? And then my mouth would open with verbal diarrhea, and then it would close at the end with her giving me some pointers of what it was wrong. And then when I went through the second one of my anxiety and my depression, I had a talking one. And that was a bit harder for me because I didn't have that face to face interaction like I did the first time, but it was a lot more tools that they would give you online and stuff like that. And one of the problems I see as well with today, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well, is in the UK, men between the age of 40 and 49 have the highest suicide rate in the United Kingdom at the moment. Do you think that's because of society? Do you think that's because of workplace? What do you think? Or why do you think that those ages, and also as well, if we're going to look at those ages as well, the highest suicide rate is between 15 and 50 is men committing, the highest death rate between that is men committing suicide. What do you think the reason is? Why do you think that there is this stigma with men not being able to talk?
I guess. Yeah. I mean, from the way I can see, I feel it's just like they just don't feel like they can talk. That's simply the way to put it. You could, like, for them, talking about their problems or their mental health, what they're going through. It's just like, oh, it's just part of life. I can get through it. And I guess for them, they just feel like they can't talk. They all of it. Don't want to say that makes them feel weak if they do, but that could be the argument as well. Is that this? I don't want to start the whole toxic masculinity thing, but I feel like that could be, play a part in as well. Like, men feel like they have to be men, so they can't, be open. If that makes sense.
So I am so thankful you ended that question the way that you said that, because that leads into my next question. Perfectly set up, by the way. He doesn't even know my questions, and he set that up beautifully.
Yeah.
Talking of toxic masculinity and being manly, do you think that there is too much noise around the people of, like, the Nigel Farages, the Tates, the Mr. Peterson, Jordan Peterson? You've got Mr. Trump. You got all of those type of things that are saying men have to be men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're not going to get too political. Men have to
Yeah,
be
please
men,
don't.
and that's the way to do it. Do you think that that's the main issue? Like, we had that show Adolescence on Netflix, who
That was a good show, by the way.
superbly, absolutely brilliant, for the way that they pinpointed of what's happening to kids these days. What do you think about that? Let's go into this. Do you think? Okay, this is going to be a really weird question, and I want you to answer it in a really weird way. Do you think that what the Tates and that are doing are helping or hindering men today?
I feel like, I'm trying to be fair as much as I can on this, because for stars, I don't even like the guy. I can't stand the guy. Um, but that said, I will say he might be trying to just, you could argue that he's trying to get, because, a lot of people will be like, oh, men aren't men these days or whatnot. He wants men to act, the men should be more like men, not be pushed around and all that. And I suppose that's fair. But, at the end of the day, it's just like, you have to remember the way you, approach, the way you're telling it. It's not, I'm trying to say, it's like,
Yeah.
especially in this day and age, the way people take things literally is not the way, because that's where, pardon my French, that's where the shit starts.
So we have this discussion with loads of people on this channel, and we all agree that what's happened to society has made things worse. Right. So let me give you example. So men were top of the food chain, right? That was the way society was. Men had to provide. If you didn't provide, you wasn't a real man. Now what's happened is society's gone, no, 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 no. We need women to be equal. But what they've done is they've now made men the bottom of the barrel while women have gone at top. So now there's an imbalance that people have tried to create. Now, let me get this straight. I want it to be here, 50-50, men and women on the same level, same path. What I'm saying is women should have been brought up and men should have been brought down. But what it shouldn't have done is make the complete utter like 180 of what's happened. That's been a discussion we've had. What do you think needs to be done to make this balance go normal? And for it to be a society where we don't have the Andrew Tates, we don't have the Petersons, we don't have the Nigel Farage, we don't have the Donald Trump or any of those type of people that are telling
I wish.
boys how to be a man. How would you balance things out? What would you do to try and make things that it's fair for everyone?
It's a tough one because we want like I was going to say, you said it perfectly. We want them to be able to meet. Like we need to be able to meet them be on the same page of it. But for some reason, like it's hard to say. Like no matter how much you want it to be, how much a guy would like to have it, be able to, you know, it's hard to say. I mean, what I do want to say is that it would be great if we could keep it, we could be on the same level with, providing, helping. But for some reason, it just seems to be a case where so and so wants to rely on the other party to do it their way, and they'll just do it. What I mean? They'll chip in when they want to chip in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's
I
go
feel like
back. No, sorry, go carry on. No, carry on.
I was going to say, I feel like I don't want to start going political or anything, but I feel like stuff like this could have should have been really mentioned in school. You know, like teaching about finances and that sort of stuff. Because I remember I had this discussion the other day at work about the stuff which we need to know about now, like paying bills and finances. They never teach us this at school, do they?
Nope.
Not strictly, if you will.
No, at all. Let's talk about school and let's go on about that. Absolutely. But I want to take you back to school and I want to take you specifically back to secondary school. And I've got a stat here. It says that around 50% of men struggle with mental health, never tell anyone. Do you think that the being tough mindset from when we were at school, because that was said a lot, and I remember that, do you think that it all starts from a young age growing up? And what was secondary school like for you? With like, did you get bullied? How did you handle all of the stuff? What was it for you? I know a certain person who won't be watching this because he doesn't like me anymore. Did bully me at school, but what was it for you? And and you know exactly who that is. And your experience of school?
I mean, I'll put it to you this way: I do miss my school days a lot. There are times where I'll wake up and I think did I do my homework? Did I get my work done and all this and that? I'll be like, did I get my coursework and essays done? And then I remember I literally finished school like more than over a decade ago. So part of me does still miss those days. Do I miss certain times a bit from school where there are times I had to deal with some drama, which was just not what I wanted to deal with that time. No, I can confirm I do not miss those as much. Uh, I don't think I don't feel like I was ever bullied. I may have been messed around a little bit, let's put it that way, by certain people who were no longer in my life, and that's fine. Sometimes I look back to those days and I do wish I'd done things differently, or I said things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of that is part of growing up, and you learn from that to help you become better. Nothing can be done perfect, if that makes sense. we have to.
So a lot. Yeah, go. Sorry.
No, I don't mean you sound hokey when I say this, but I feel like we do have to go through a bit of a struggle, to get to go to where we are.
Absolutely, and it's always. And I don't feel like we need to have a society where everything's handed on the plate for everyone. A bit of tough can help everyone get to where they are.
Perfect that way.
But we also want to be in a society where everyone gets treated the same. And I remember when I was at school as well, that I was always the joking one, the class clown,
I remember.
yeah. So, and I know now, when I look back at it now, I look back of that was me trying to hide how upset I was during that time, and how I used that as a mechanism to not let anyone see behind the glass door. That glass door was closed when I got into my bedroom, and no one else was allowed in for me to then release what I needed to release. For you, what was your coping mechanism at school? Did you have one? Did you need one for you to help you get through those school years?
Man, that's a really good question, because I never really thought I ever had one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like, when you have the right friends, you just. I mean, I want to say, having good friends help you get through, the tough times. Obviously, when I went to sixth form, it was working out, which helped me, I guess. If it was any of those two things I just mentioned, that would have helped me through. I never realized, really, because sometimes I look back on those days and you think, like, I was dealing with, X, Y, and Z, from like coursework to stress to some drama, and it's just like, I didn't have my license back then as well, so it was even a bit more of a struggle. So I'd be walking, to get to A to B. So yeah, I mean, I guess I was just, you know, if it was either one of the two that of the what I just said, that must have helped me through those times without even realizing.
Yeah, so we're going to skip things on now to some statistics for you. According to the NHS Talking Therapies, minority ethnic groups, including Asian groups, have poorer access and outcomes on average than white British. They have longer wait times, lower recovery in some settings. Men are underrepresented overall in referrals. While services report working to narrow the ethnic gaps, national recovery rose by 50%. And the latest annual NHS Talking Therapies report, which was in 2022-23, includes significantly, it was a breakdown on the files. Males are detained at a higher rates than females. Also, as well, a burden that men who use the word burden, roughly 1 in 8 Asian men in England screen positive for that. Suicide risk is lower in Asian and British men than white British groups. And care gaps, access to outcomes in NHS. The ethnic groups are less likely to be present in talking therapies than the white British men. I know that your family is Asian. You from that. What does that make you feel when you think about the community that you're from? Because I know you had so many cousins at school that I got along with all of them. I was, and if you remember correctly, I was the only white man in that group at certain times as well. From there was
You're talking
there was
about,
a couple of us. Yeah, there was a
if you're
group.
talking about yeah, if you're talking about, I think you're talking about, they weren't my cousins. Some of them actually knew my cousins. But yeah.
Yeah. So you had cousins, you had friends, you had very close families for you around the area where you're from.
Yeah.
When you listen to those stats and those statistics for you, why do you think that that the Asian community are not looking for help and won't go for help? What does that say to you? For your experience, why do you think that is?
Well, I guess to the simple way of putting it is because, like, a lot of it's more like to do with the fact that the cousins and family friends and family friends and cousins, etc. I feel like that's like a support group in its own. So, when they're when if someone's going through a tough time, they can easily not easily, but they can reach out to one of them, and they can be open with them on their situation. So I suppose on that for that reason alone, they don't feel like the need to go through um, like any therapies, or any go for any therapies, or going to like, I don't know, seeking any medical help, because for all the help they need,
Very much
which
so.
can be
Right.
right,
Yeah,
but I still say seeking professional help is the right way.
absolutely. And me and you were very, very close at school, and we used to always have each other's back. But before we get into, so at the end of these videos, if you haven't seen, we have a quick fire fun quiz, 12 questions, random shit, and we will be doing that at the end of the quiz. Right. So expect weird ass questions with a quick fire round for it. But we're going to get into wrestling. Right. Me and you wrestling fans, we know what it is. You train like you should be in NXT, but you're the age of like LA Knight where where you can do that or anything like that. But what is it for you? Like wrestling, what grabs you in and what makes you still watch it to this day?
Yeah, that's a good question as well, because some people would have grown out of it,
Hmm.
and for me, I did have phases when I was off it as well. I
Hmm.
had there were times where I'd be off it. Probably gonna sound weird when I say this, but it's like EastEnders for me. Like, I can be off it for like 2 years, and I'll still know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I suppose I will say that wrestling's like a safe place for me, if that makes sense. Like, it just seems to
Hmm.
put me in a good mood every time I watch it. Even if it's been a bad episode, I'll still have something to enjoy, keep me entertained, whatnot. Yeah, and that as well. It's same with movies and TV shows and docus and docu series and whatnot. Just, I suppose it's just those little things that have always helped me, just keep myself entertained, or whatever bad days I've had, it just puts me in a better mood.
Okay. Let's go on to this as well. And you talked about this
And again,
safe place.
speaking,
Go on.
I was gonna say, speaking of documentaries, did you watch Unreal on Netflix?
Yeah. Thoughts?
I liked it. I thought everyone was moaning, "Oh, it's pulling the
I want
curve
to get
back,"
your
blah blah
thoughts on
blah.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, people were moaning about that. I was like, nobody, when they did Behind the Curtain, or that show which came out 20 years ago. So why are they complaining now? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And the same people that complain
I
about it are the
liked
same
it.
people that talk about all the stuff. Yeah, I thought it was good. I had no problem with it. You know, it's a blur. It's
I was very
it's
much
one of those things
shocked.
they get the whole lights things right.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting to look at it because I've always wanted to know or want to have an understanding of the thinking behind certain things and why they do it. And I wanted to have a better idea of why does Booker's their WrestleMania future look like and why it never got there? What was the thinking behind why John Cena turned heel and why did Travis Scott fuck that completely up? And then you've also got to look at as well the rivalry between Punk and Seth Rollins, how that got to it, and the
Yeah,
women's division as well. And looking at that, I think the impact that happened between Charlotte and Tiffany, I thought it was really nice to really get a better understanding of that. I'm going to
yeah,
ask you a random question, and we're not
yeah.
going to talk about all time. I'm not going to talk about all time. I'm talking about right now in the WWE. What is your Mount Rushmore? So top five wrestlers. We'll go top five male, and we'll do top five female. We'll do separately.
Oh
I want to
man,
get your top five of who you're loving in WWE right now. Let's go with
right.
female
You're talking about right
first.
now, then.
Right, top five females.
Okay, yeah. If you're talking right now, then off the top of my head, oh man, I don't want to leave out my favorites. That's the thing; it's hard to say. But I will say, current right now. Okay, so definitely.
Hold on, say that
Hello?
again. Yeah, like, say that again.
Can you hear me? Yeah, CM Punk.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, CM Punk. So yeah, Punk's definitely always going to be there up there. Uh, Seth Rollins,
Mm-hmm.
Damian Priest, because he's always going to be my guy. Braun Breaker, because that guy has got. I've been saying that guy's got a bright future for since the day he stepped in.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of one last guy. Ooh. Hmm. Okay, I'll say LA Knight,
Yeah.
but I'm also going to just add just two more guys.
Oh no, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're not adding two
Oh,
more.
come
It's
on.
top five. Stop this bollocks. I know you were going to do this.
Okay, can I
I
at
knew
least give an
exactly when I
honorable
said it.
mention then at least?
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, if I give one honorable mention, yeah?
Go on.
I have to say, I feel like Obafemi is the guy to watch out for from NXT.
All right, right. I'll do it with you because I feel like it's unfair for you to do it on your own. So I will do it with you. All right. So I'm going to go with number one. I'm going to go with the tribal chief Roman Reigns. I'm going to go two. I'm going to
I would
go
have
with
mentioned him as
Jacob.
well.
I'm going to go with Jacob
Oh,
Fatu, who I'm absolutely
oh,
loving.
fuck's sake.
I'm
I
going to
like
go
him too. I
Seth
just wish I
Rollins.
said it now.
I know. I'm going to go Seth Rollins. I'm going to go Bron Breakker, and I think I'm going to go with main event Jey Uso as my
I
top
love
five. Right, let's go over to the female division with you. Who is your top five? And I'll do, if you want me to go first, I can go first. But if we're going to go top fives, who do you want to go first, me or you? You get to choose this time.
I'll go first, isn't it?
Go on then.
So I'd say number one definitely has to be Rhea because she's on top of her game. I'll say second to Rhea would have to be Bianca Belair. Who else? So yeah, definitely. So Rhea, Bianca, Liv Morgan. I've been watching her since day one, and she really, upped her game when she was given, you know. So down to the last two. Okay, who can I say is the last two to think from? Last two. Just trying to think who would be my last two. Oh wait, sorry, I almost forgot. So definitely Tiffany Stratton.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say, see, I want to say someone from NXT, but I feel like, it's hard to say. Just trying to think of one more person that stands out.
There's a lot. That's the issue. The women's division is so stacked now in WWE that it's really hard to pick from. Come on, you just got a few seconds. Come on, you can do this.
I'll go with one of my favorites who I've been supporting since she showed up on NXT, and as Ivy Nile, that's my girl. I feel like there's so much untapped potential there, so I'm gonna go with her.
I knew you were going to pick her. I've seen your tweets.
You've been reading my tweets, I know.
Yes, I've seen your thirst
She's my favorite. I can't help it.
Your thirsty tweets towards her. I've seen them. All right, I'm going to go with top five from myself. I'm going to go with number one, Mariah May. Number two, Jordan Grace.
I love
I'm
her.
going to go for
She's great.
number three. I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. Charlotte Fair. Oh shit, no. Actually, I'll revise that.
Man.
I'm going to go Mariah. I'm going to revise that. So Mariah May, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Fair, Becky Lynch. There we go. Those are my top five. Honorable mentions to Jordan Grace.
I would have mentioned Charlotte. I would have mentioned Becky too.
Yeah, I really
Repeat
like
that again.
Lyra Valkyria. I really like Io Sky as
Yeah.
well. Could be in there. There's a lot of women. Right. Here we go then. We've gone 45 minutes into the show. It's been longer behind the scenes because we've also had technical difficulties that we had to sort out as well. So we're going to do a quick fire round now. It's the first thing that pops into your brain, and we will not judge unless it's about Ivy Nile. Then I will be judging you quite profusely. So there we go. Are you ready for the quick fire round?
Go for it.
Hold on, I need a drink for this because it's going to be fun. Right. Here we go. If your brain had a wrestling entrance theme, what would it be?
Off the top of my head, I would say I would go for Eminem's Phenomenal, but I'd have to alter it a little bit to make it fit. But that would be the thing that I'd go for.
Good shout. Who's more likely to open up first, you or me?
Sorry, I couldn't quite. You mind you repeat that? I think the sound went off.
Who's going to open up first, me or you?
Open up.
Yeah, as in talk.
Would you?
Like, who's going to open up their
I'd say you.
feelings first? Yeah, I would as well. It's, by the way, and I will say this as nicely as I possibly can. If I text this man, I'm waiting 3 to 4 business days sometimes for a reply. But if I DM him, I will get something back. But when I text him, I'm waiting 3 to 4 business days before I hear anything.
To be fair, my network is a bit crap. I'll be honest. O2, I don't know what it is. Like 1 minute the 1 minute the 4G, 5G is fine, then all of a sudden I lose network. So then I try and hope I get somewhere I can get Wi-Fi. It's yeah.
Okay. Also, here we go then. What's your go-to to help you crack your mental health struggles? What do you go and do?
Workout.
Okay. I've just seen the next question. Would you rather wrestle the Undertaker or
Oh god.
go and talk in therapy?
Oh god. I'm gonna go 1-on-1 with the Undertaker player.
I like that answer.
That was like the worst. That's like the worst Teddy Long impression.
That was horrific. Horrific. What would your go-to if you were in a zombie apocalypse? What are the 3 things that you would use to fight the zombies?
I'm just gonna say I just turned into. If you watched The Walking Dead,
Yes.
I'm gonna turn into Daryl. That's all I can say. I love Daryl.
Right,
He's my favorite character. He's my favorite character.
All right. Right. Next up, what's your go-to? What do you enjoy the most about the gym? What is that one machine or one thing you do at the gym that you go, I'm going to smash this?
Oh man, that's a good question. Don't really know if I have a favorite machine. To be fair, I'd say I have a favorite exercise.
Go on.
That counts.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm saying I have a favorite exercise. If that counts.
Yeah, go on. What is it?
Just bicep curls, isn't it? Who doesn't love doing biceps?
Fucking with these fucking pythons over there. Of course it is. So the next question is: would you trust your mate more with your darkest secret, or would you rather wrestle 1-on-1 with Brock Lesnar?
Oh god. Yeah, you know what? I'll just take my chances and just let Brock just kill me. I mean, I thought he's safe in the ring, so I should be okay. I think, as long as I don't piss him off.
Yeah, good show. If you were in the WWE, what would your finisher move be?
Oh man, yeah, that's a good question.
I know what I would choose for myself because I know it's fully unrealistic that I would ever be able to do it.
I'd say it's a tough question. I mean, I suppose I'd go for a submission move. I remember like when we were in school, everyone was trying to do the Walls of Jericho. Usually
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go for a submission. I can't say for sure, but it'd definitely be like a submission move I'd go for. Something which I can basically, lock on anyone.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, then. So, one last question I have for you. Who is, you can only name one, and this is only one that you're going to get, your all-time favorite wrestler?
Good question. For me, it's always going to be Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
He's my all-time
Good
favorite.
shout. That is
He always will
such a
be
good shout.
because, yeah, it still saddens me that because he himself has said it. I don't know if you ever watched his documentary. Yeah, he did quite a few of those. One of the things which he said, which is true, was that he was never really even around that long. Even when he was being pushed because he had a few injuries in between, so he was really only able to compete like in the 6 years he was there. He was only there for like even like 3-4 years, if even that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying. So yeah, I feel like Kurt Angle is going to always be my all-time favorite. He actually was. He was actually one of the reasons why I even watched TNA. Believe it. I mean, I knew of TNA even before he was there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew of some of the guys who were there as well, like AJ and Joe. But like he was the reason why I started watching it. You know.
Very much so. Right. We're going to finish the episode here, and we're going to say thank you ever so much. What is your main? I haven't asked this question before, and I want to ask this question again. I haven't asked. I thought about it now. What is your main takeaway from today's episode? What is the main thing that either shocked you or you're happy with that you did? What was your main takeaway from today?
I guess what I can say was that it's just knowing that men, going people, depression, being unable to talk is more common than you think. And when you throw over statistics, I remember it's a bit off topic when I say this, but I remember in school, like one of the things which we learned in maths was that when it comes to statistics, it's just numbers, But I feel like sometimes the numbers can really, know, make a big difference, especially when you hear that it's more common than you think. For people, sorry, men especially, just not being able to be open about what they're going through in their life, and it just makes you like. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like you have to be careful to every person that you speak to, but it is true that you never know what anyone can be going through. Anytime you see them, because like people can go about their day-to-day lives, and you wouldn't know that what they're going through when they get home. And I don't want to say too much because it's a bit personal, but one of my friends, specifically, he'll yeah, I should really see it when he's not talking much, but like he'll be quiet about things. You can tell his mood's a bit off, and then I'll find out like a week or so later that what he's been going through, and I'm just like, man, I wish you'd told me that before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Right. And final question I have for you is not really a question. It is there anything that you've wanted to ask me? This is a free for all to a certain point. Is there anything you would like to ask me before we end this episode?
I guess the only thing I can ask you is how you're doing and how you're keeping.
I've been better. I've had a tough few weeks with what's been going on behind the scenes. I think the main thing that I've struggled with is because my son is a non-verbal autistic. And and he's very behind. He has no sense of danger and no sense of anything. And we live in a flat. The
Yeah,
issue we've got is he's such in a confined space that it's just been a real struggle for me and my wife, especially my wife, because I have my job and I go to work to sort of get him to calm down, to relax. So we're looking forward to when they go back to school. Basically, it's just been a very hard summer holiday so far, but we know what we need to do moving forward to help him and my daughter and everything moving forward. So it's been a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but a little bit of a pain in the ass. We now know what my son and my daughter need, but it's just the 6 weeks always hard, so it's just been a little bit difficult. But yes, right. We are going to leave it there. Thank you guys ever so much for joining me today. If you don't know already, there are some new channels or new stuff coming to my channels. And while Ghulam is here, he can experience this. If you don't know, we already do the WWE 2K25 series on my Mark Talks Wrestling show. And also on the Mark Talks Football, we've got Football Manager 24. But coming in the Clash at the Castle on Mark Talks Wrestling, we've got this starting. That is correct. The Clash at Castle. Thank you. After Clash at Castle, we're going to be doing a live review show live on Twitch and YouTube on Mark Talks Wrestling, and then on the Sunday later that day, or the next day, we will be doing a review show of everything that's happened in WWE, our final thoughts of Clash at Castle, and we will also be doing a build up to what we think could be happening next week. Every Sunday, that will be coming to you. Also, on Mark Talks Football, we are going to be adding this show.
You've had a lot of free time, haven't you?
No, I literally do this. I have not got a lot. I wish I had free time. So on Wednesdays and Sundays, on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. UK time or 5 p.m. UK time, we will be releasing a Reading FC solely topic about what's been going on at Reading Football Club. And on a Sunday, this show will be split into two. In the first half of the Reading show, the first half will be all about the Reading. The second half will be all about this.
Don't know what to say about that.
Exactly. On the other side of the Sunday show, we will be discussing all things cricket, rugby, Premier League action, football, American football, all different types of things. We will be doing that on the Sunday show as well. So make sure you go over to all of the channels. Make sure you go and hit the subscribe. The link down to all of my socials are down below. They'll take forever to go through. But it is all down below. So make sure you go over there. Ghulam's social, basically his ex, will be in the link in the description down below. So make sure you go over there, give him a follow. And also, and as well, to everyone out there that's watching this and you stay to the end, what I want to say is if you're ever going through anything, there is always someone else out there for you. Don't think you're alone. Make sure that there is someone there. My DMs are open if you ever need to talk. There are all of them. Any DM down there, any social, anything. I will answer it as quickly as I can, and we can talk things through. No worries about that. So, with thanks to Ghulam for turning up today. Thank you ever so much. Even though I thought he was meant to be here in a different day, and I got rushed home and ate my dinner, scoffed it down, and then realised I've got the wrong day. As he went, "You mean tomorrow?" I went, yeah. So
yeah. I was wondering why you were saying that. I was like, wait, what do you mean by that?
I had it was a long day yesterday. I worked and it all went wrong. So thank you guys ever so much for watching, and we will see you next week for another, or me on my own. We will find out. With love, with care, money.